everybody, welcome to the next car game. I am Code Nodger and I'm going to give you a sneak peek at the tech demo to the next car game, which is a little bit of a weird title, is it not? It's kind of a working title, I believe. This game is created by the creators of the Flatout series, which if you've ever played was a high contact kind of demolition derby ragdoll physics racing game. And it was a very popular series, but it was produced by a company called Bugbear Gaming or Technology, something like that. And they really had this concept of a game that was more oriented on just having fun and destroying cars, as you can tell, than necessarily sticking to a typical Need for Speed race your way up the ladder kind of feeling. It was a very creative, fun, fluid game style that really shined on the fun factor more so than any racing game I've ever played. It was a racing game for people that don't like racing games, and that worked so well that even me, Mr. Hardcore Racing Sim Lover, really loved that series. So I'm very excited to see what they're working on here. This is a little technical demo area that will show you what all you can do with the physics engine, the graphics engine, and their destructible environments. This may look a little familiar to you. You're probably thinking, well, isn't this like exactly what BeamNG was? Not exactly. Actually, not really at all. Although this scenery all looks very familiar, it's a completely different experience. BeamNG is really focused on displaying what they can do with their soft body physics. This, on the other hand, not necessarily soft body physics, very well designed, pre-modeled damage effects. There's some soft body aspects of it, but it's not nearly to the degree of BeamNG. You can see this car is demolished, but it's still driving pretty much fine. The environments are extremely destroyable. That's an amazing improvement over the Flatout games. I mean, they had some of this, but never to this degree, and things really fall apart in a... Oops, let's do a reset here. In a very sensible fashion. Like, you probably saw this in the intro, but let me knock down one of these guys real quick. Just the way things fall over and break apart is very, very realistic, which is a word I didn't expect to use in this little first impressions video here, because that's never really what you would think about when you think about a flat-out game, is realism. But these destroyable environments really are that. I mean, the braking strength of some of the stuff is probably a little off-kilter, but the way things just demolish and fall down really looks correct. It doesn't seem awkward or out of place. So we run through some tires here. And there's different levels of things to break through. So if we go over one, I think it's barrels. So the barrels are going to prove to be a little bit more difficult to get through, but not bad. And we've got some crates, which take a good bit of push to get through. Hey, get off of there. And then you've got rebar reinforced concrete poles, which you might expect take even a little bit more. Now that's a pretty easy breaking apart concrete pole, but still the way it breaks apart seems very realistic. And if we look at the car, yeah, there's not very much left. It's still drivable though. I mean, isn't it? When I say it's fine, it's not really as if it hasn't changed its driving physics at all, but a car that's damaged this badly obviously would no longer even be running, so that kind of stuff is not modeled. But we can just fix it on the fly. Go back to our static cam, and let's check out what they have set up around here for us. It's basically like an amusement park. And when BeamNG came out, I was really excited about it, the tech demo of that, because I really liked Rigs of Rods, and I was expecting it to be a lot of that. So far, although there's very cool aspects of it, I've been overall pretty unimpressed with their lack of direction. They're not taking the game in any particular way so far, it would seem. And the things that were, well, that didn't go well. The things that were available in the tech demo. Oh, where did we end up? Oh, we're in the Plinko. Come on, $1,000. I think this is the first time I've actually made it down the whole thing. Usually I get stuck. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the tech demo of that, although it was a similar area to this, it was just a bunch of obstacles and stuff. It was set up more to show off what the physics engine could do. It wasn't really meant to be entertaining. This, for just as simple as it is, I have already wasted like a couple hours in this, and I've only owned this for about a day, and I fully expected to be bored with it in 20 minutes, like I kind of was with the BeamNG tech demo. So this is the difference between the two, if you were wondering, because when you're just looking at it, they look pretty similar, but when you play it, the physics are just completely different. They're very arcade, but they're very correct feeling. It's very fluid, like I said, and it feels right. Everything about it just feels very natural to you. Gonna make it in? This is the kind of stuff that you would always find in a Flat Out series. It would be like mini games where, hey, we made it in one completely on accident. There'd be a bunch of mini games. Usually it would involve like shoving the driver of the car out of the windshield and having him go through a dartboard or something like that. But this one focuses more on, well, so far, focuses more on the car, which is neat. I like that aspect of it. I thought the whole ragdoll thing of the old Flat Out was probably a little bit overplayed. They put a little too much stock in that being the whole point of the game. So this game was recently on a Kickstarter campaign, and as is not completely uncommon, that Kickstarter campaign actually ended up failing, and I can kind of understand why. If you looked at it, there wasn't a whole lot they were offering to people. It was a big investment into something they didn't really have much to show you. Even if they had this, I don't know, this technical demo, I don't know if that would have even done it. Whoa. This is just such a flooded market of, kind of arcade-style car games that it's going to take a lot to convince people to make that investment. So now they've kind of switched over to just a normal crowdsourcing, crowdfunding kind of model where you can buy the tech demo or buy pre-order the game for $25. I think that's the minimum. And then for, $35 you can get access to another car, stuff like that. And, you can go all the way up to like $100 to get your name featured in the game and a character. You get to design a car and stuff like that. That kind of model I can foresee working much better because there's no time limit on it. They can kind of design it at their own pace, which is part of the reason they seem to have wanted to leave the whole big studio atmosphere anyway. When you're in a big studio like that, they limit what you can do. You gotta get this game out in a year or else. So now they've kind of got the design freedom to really go wild with it. I'm very curious to see where they take it, because as of now, that is a really messed up car. As of now, this is just kind of a free roam fun type of thing to show you what the game engine can do. Ouch. Ouch. and just to have ridiculous amounts of fun in for no reason at all. It does very good job at that. Alright, so it looks like we got a little obstacle course here, or a narrow track to get through. So we'll work through this. But this kind of leads to a question. What the heck are they going to do with this? Sure, it has good physics, very good graphics, definitely a big graphics improvement. Cool damage model, and a lot of neat, destructible environment type of objects. So what are they going to do with it? Well, if you look around, if you go and just type in next car game on Google, you'll see a bunch of screenshots of a game that looks not too much different. Whoa, barely made that jump. Whoop. Than Flat Out. So I kind of foresee this just being another sequel to Flat Out. There has been a couple. But with a upgraded graphics engine, and I'm probably gonna guess more of a free roam, destructible environment kind of game, similar to maybe, whoops, whoa, apparently there's no winning this, or winning still too killed. I think we can drive out of it. Ooh, still broken, okay. So the old Flat Outs, you know, it was very track oriented. You had certain courses that you could compete on, and it was just your normal races where first one to the finish line wins. And but it was very, you know, focused on taking out your opponents, yeah, like that. And that was basically it. Without the restrictions of a developer, without the restrictions of a publisher, I mean, I'm kind of hoping they can turn it into something a little bit more open world, sandboxy, you know, make your own races kind of deal. Maybe with that regular racetrack campaign on the side. That would be fun to see. Or maybe even just a bunch of random environments like this with tons of mini games that you could compete with your friends online. That kind of model would work very well with this engine. There's certainly a lot of directions they could go with it, and I think any one of them will be plenty successful, and it's definitely worth the $25 I believe it is right now for the minimum backing. Even if this is all you get for the $25, heck, I think this is enough. So I don't see any reason they won't be able to raise enough money to make a completed game. So I guess we'll just have to wait for the future to see where it goes. But until then, I'm just going to continue to waste many hours destroying vehicles and obstacles and everything I can possibly destroy. So driving is not the only thing we can do here. There's a whole other element to this that I'm really surprised is in. I didn't foresee them. Wow. Angry much there, guy? I can take care of you. Yeah, you can launch stuff with a cannon too, which the cannon's not displayed or anything, but that's interesting. I don't remember that being part of Flat Out, that you would have quote-unquote weapons. So that brings a whole new aspect of possibilities into it. You know, rather than just being a Demolition Derby style racing game, you could actually have some kind of like some aspect of, what is this, like a gravity bomb? I don't know. I'm noticing when I launch it, things are like attracted to it. Let's go over here. Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. That's awesome. So not only could you destroy each other with vehicles, you can have weapons. You know, not like your typical GTA style shoot 'em up weapons, but like silly cannon weapons and stuff like that. So that's an interesting aspect to introduce into the game. I think there's other things we can launch too. And there's a rocket. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's a good thing to add to the game. I guess it's somewhat unique. I don't know how they plan to use it, but I can see see it being fun, that's for sure. Whoa, that's a giant sphere. Nifty. There's gonna be nothing left of this world. Box, just a crate, and then the gravity one. That one's really cool. So yeah, that's something they could add to the racing aspect of it to make it even more interesting, or maybe you can go with like an apocalyptic racing style. As I said, we will see. Alright, so this was just a first impressions video of the game. Obviously there's not really enough content here to do a full-on let's play of the game yet. I certainly am going to be watching the progress in the future, and I hope it does get to that point where it is a complete game that we could do a let's play through. Everything I've seen so far leads me to believe it could be a lot of fun, but until then, there's only one thing left to do. Get in!